Hi, this is Chris with the Wild Berry Patch, and today is the 31st day of the month. And on the 31st day, because there's not very many of them, we read Psalm 119, and there's a separate little video of Psalm 119. But I'm also going to do Proverbs 31 right now with you, and just my thoughts as we go over this. So let's jump in. The words of Lemuel, of King Lemuel, and it is considered that this is actually by Solomon, an oracle that his mother taught him. So this is how his mother taught him. And Solomon's mother was the wife of Uriah, Bathsheba. So somehow she was an officer's wife. She knew how to train Solomon to be a king. What should I say, my son? What, son of my womb? What, son of my vows? Don't spend your energy on women or your efforts on those who destroy kings. All over and over and over in probably the first 10 Proverbs, we're talking about wisdom helping keep young men specifically away from the adulterous women, but also adulterous men the women need to be staying away from these adulterous men in our day and age. The point is, keep yourself sexually pure. When you have sex with someone that is not your spouse, you give your energy over to that person. If you have watched the series, The Crown, you can see all through, I haven't watched all of it, but the men spend so much time using other women, and it causes problems and it causes distractions. And then Princess Margaret, she has problems with having all sorts of men, and it just causes her no end of grief. So keep your sex for pure things. That's the point. It's not for kings. King Lemuel, it's not for kings to drink wine. And I have some cross-references that I will put in the notes. Otherwise, they will drink and forget what is decreed. Again, you can watch the videos from The Crown and how they drink like fish, I guess you would say. And they make foolish decisions because they got drunk, and it messes all sorts of things up. Give strong drink to the one who's dying, though, which I think this goes hand in hand with giving those who are dying comfort medications like the morphine and any other pain medication that is given to someone who's dying to help them combat the pain of the end. Speak up for those who have no voice, for the justice of all who are oppressed. Speak up, judge righteously, and defend the cause of the oppressed and needy. Psalm 29:7 says, speak up for those, the righteous speak up for those with no voice. Isaiah 1:17 says, defend the fatherless and plead the case for the widow. So these are people that are, I'd also say the homeless. There's aspects for minorities here. There are people that are that don't have privileges, that don't have access, that don't have, privileges, access, and abilities, because there's also the people with disabilities, with access issues. So we that are able, we that are strong, in the righteousness that we claim, need to reach out and defend those who cannot defend themselves, cannot speak for themselves. We need to be the voice for the voiceless. That's the point. Next is an alphabetical poem about the first Wonder Woman. Now, I have to say, the way I read Psalm 31 when I first got married, first it was horrifically guilt-ridden. I had to do all these things, and I couldn't do all these things. Not even in Christ could I do all these things. But the point is, as I matured and looked at it, one, this is something to aim for. The power, the authority, those two words are going to have to get it, but that this woman had in the family is amazing. Who can find a capable wife? She is far more precious than jewels. She is the husband's crown, Proverbs 12:4 says. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will not lack any good thing. Here's the trust factor between a husband and a wife. He's not constantly downing her or second guessing her. He trusts in her, and that trust empowers her. She rewards him with that, because of that trust, with good and not evil all the days of her life. There's plenty of proverbs about the wife that is not doing good. There's two-way street in these marriages. She selects wool and flax. She works with her hands. She's like the merchant ship bringing food from afar. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household. That's called crock-pot. I would make bread pudding the night before, and it would cook overnight. And voila, there's crock-pot breakfast for everybody. She draws on her strength. The New Living Translation says she is energetic, and the NIV says she works vigorously and reveals that her arms are strong. Just working, doing. She's not lazy. She's not laying around eating bonbons. She evaluates a field and buys it. She's actually doing the work of what we expect a farm man to do. And she is buying a field, planting a vineyard, and making money. She knows that her profits are good. Her lamp doesn't go out by night. Now, this does not mean she works 24/7. But the point is, she's diligent and she perseveres. Her hands reach out to the poor, and she extends her hands to the needy. In all of this, she is not big-headed, and she knows that some of this that's coming in on her behalf is to go out to those who have less. That's one of the things we just talked about, the voiceless, to help them. She's not afraid for her household when it snows, because she's made clothing for them. Up at the top, she selects wool and flax and working willingly with her hands, and she's making clothing that would take care of her family when it snows. She makes her own bed coverings. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. The point is, she could go down to Target and buy a blanket, but she knows that she has the money to go down to Target and buy a blanket, to buy a coat for her children. Her children are not walking around barefoot in the winter because she has diligently budgeted her money. I'm not talking about people who are struggling. I'm talking about the ideal, something to aim for. And even those struggling to have shoes for their children would want to have and provide shoes for their children. That's the point, is her heart is focused on her children. So strength and honor are her clothing. Oh, she makes and sells linen garments. So on top of making clothes for her family and household goods, she has extra and sells it. Her mouth, she opens her mouth with wisdom. Loving instruction is on her tongue. Now, I know this is one of the things that I had difficulty doing as a mom, loving instruction. And kids, I'm sorry, I messed that up. But loving instruction, and her mouth with wisdom. Charm is deceitful and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. Give her the reward of her labor, and let her works praise her in the gates. So if we look at the first part of Proverbs 31, it's talking about the responsibilities over drink and sexuality. And then Proverbs 31, the last half, is talking about the freedom, the authority, the empowerment of women to run a household. So much so that their husband is known in the gates because she's doing everything. And I don't say that the husband is to be lazy. I'm not saying that. Just the fact of the matter is, this woman is empowered. She is the CEO of her house. She is in charge and knows everything about her house inside and out, and knows the Lord is the one that gives her strength. That's my take on Proverbs 31. Thank you, and the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you the peace that passes all understanding. Keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.